According to his redevelopment, reshaping the city, do you think it's an opportunity? Do you think it's a challenge, or do you think it's both?
So redevelopment is not an option, it is the only choice.
Do you personally read books in the real estate sector?
I have authored 25 books on the real estate sector. That's the largest collection of literature in the world.
One word to describe Mumbai real estate.
On steroids.
What's something that people outside the industry completely misunderstand about developers?
Developer is a sitting duck, the easiest neck to catch.
What are your thoughts on developers actually showing themselves more on social media these days?
So you build a personal brand as well as you build a company brand.
Has regulation made the sector more disciplined or more difficult?
Regulation is great, but over-regulation actually kills the... Every project is RERA registered. I don't think people have put that project number, gone to the RERA website to actually understand the details that are uploaded about the project.
So who are REITs, and is it actually meant for India?
REITs stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. If you want to enter into real estate, you need at least ₹1 crore. To enter into REIT, you can do with a...
This is Adsync Dubai's newest vertical, Podcast with Adsync. And honestly, I couldn't have picked a better person to start with. When most people actually talk about real estate, they talk about prices and projects. My guest today talks about understanding real estate. He's a developer, a lawyer, a researcher, and the mind behind India's first PhD on RERA and REITs. He's deeply involved in shaping how the industry thinks about policy, data, and long-term growth. But what I love the most about his work is that he believes clarity matters more than hype. So if you've ever really wanted to understand real estate in India, especially in Mumbai, this conversation is for you. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Advocate Harshul Savla.
Hi.
Hi, Harshul. How are you?
Fantastic.
Firstly, welcome to Podcast with Adsync, and we're so glad to have you here.
Same here. Pleasure's mine too.
For someone who's hearing your name for the very first time, how would you like to actually introduce yourself?
I think a developer, an academician turned developer, and an author.
Oh, fantastic. That leads me literally to my next question. You wear many hats, a developer, a lawyer, a researcher, an author. Which achievement are you most proud of and why?
I think the one that I'm most proud of at this point of time is the one of author. I have authored 25 books on the real estate sector. That's the largest collection of literature in the world on real estate sector. Real estate in India had a lot of information asymmetry. There was no transparency. There was no data available. In that era, I'm so proud to share that now there is completely democratization of knowledge that is available. I've covered 25 topics and I look to cover much more. And I'm sure this must have inspired many more authors and many more veterans and professionals, to write and create content. And I think that is the way this sector will grow. And this is the way all stakeholders will take an informed decision.
I love that. Actually, the last time I was listening to one of your podcasts, the last thing I knew is that you've written 19 books and you hold the world record for the number of books that you've written in the Indian real estate nuances. And
Absolutely.
From 19 books, just a couple of, maybe less than a year back, to 25 books. How did that happen?
So the idea is very simple. I pick up micro topics and most of the topics are given to me by my readers. So I actually engage with them on social media and ask about what topic they would like to know about. And then what I do is go through meticulously about all aspects. The fact that I practice as a developer and academically I've done my PhD in law actually helps me in creating content which is for layman, which is for someone who doesn't understand the technicality and the jargons that the sector throws up.
Do you personally read books in the real estate sector? And if yes, internationally or within the country, who's your biggest inspiration?
I think I pick up a lot of my learnings from conferences, conclaves, webinars. And this is a way a lot of medical professionals actually build up on knowledge.
Yeah.
So you go to any, MD, MS or doctors, they at least attend 4 to 5 conferences in a year. And that is where there is a lot of peer learning. I'm part of CREDI. I'm chairman for research and statistics there. And CREDI is one of the largest real estate association of India.
Yes.
We are there in more than 253 cities of India.
Wow.
Across 26 states. And there are more than 13,000 real estate developers who are part of CREDI. So whenever there is a national event of CREDI, it is gold mine of information and learning.
Absolutely.
I think even IIM Ahmedabad or a Harvard course would not be able to offer as much a single national event of CREDI offers. And you meet people from all across the country. You meet from tier 3, tier 2, tier 1. There are study tours that are there, on-site learning, experiential learning, people across age groups.
Yes.
So right from 70-year-old to a 20-year-old. So the wide spectrum of discussions that happen, I think they are fuel to me. And there are at least 4 events, one every quarter, which CREDI does. And I think I make it a point to attend each one of those.
Wonderful. I'm not too sure if you smartly dodged my question or what was it, but the question I actually asked you was who is your current biggest inspiration? Either it could be an author within the real estate space
No. So
or someone that you look up to.
So my inspiration is from people who practice.
Yes.
I
you like
really
to drop
look
some
up
names?
to Baman Irani,
Yes.
chairman of Rustamji Group,
Yes.
and the versatility with which he handles situations. He operates across asset classes. He operates across different segments, and he's a leader at CREDI. He's the chairman of CREDI, and
Yes.
clearly a mentor and icon for most of us.
Mentor and icon to most of us. Absolutely correct. Love that. The other question that I actually have for you is, you are actually known for being one of the most academically driven minds in real estate, right? What pushed you to go so much into research in a very, very practical industry? Because real estate is more about hands-on approach, but you've actually understood the theory side of things as well. You've researched a lot. So what actually encouraged you to get into that?
That's a very interesting story. So I was not even, so from the 7 academic degrees I hold, I can tell you that I was not even going to do my post-graduation. So I was going to stop at graduation. And it was my mom who actually pushed me into doing a post-graduation. So I really, now she blames me that you need to stop studying, but I actually go back to her that she was the one. I was very keen, and this was 2008, 2009 to join the real estate sector. And my mom actually pushed me into doing a post-graduation, saying that she had done a graduation. So she expected that I at least do a post-graduation. Luckily, I made it to Jamnalal Bajaj, which is one of the top MBA colleges for post-graduation in management.
Lovely.
Did my MBA there. But that was a turnaround experience for me. The beauty with JBIMS is that 90% of our faculty are actually our alumni.
Oh, amazing.
Who actually come back and teach. And they're very senior corporate professionals. They're industry leaders, thought leaders, who actually make it a point to giving time to the institute. And that was very inspirational for me. It is there that the bug of research hit me, and where instead of going around with gut institution or with your own intuition and doing stuff, I think the whole idea of doing research-oriented decision making appealed to me a lot.
Yes.
I participated in a lot of research competitions, and I did well. And that is where I made up my mind that sooner or later I will enroll in for a PhD program.
Yeah.
So it was JBIMS, which was actually a turnaround point. I entered into JLL, did my PhD thereafter. parallelly I'd joined business. And the first thing when you join real estate business is that you need to have a very good hands-on knowledge of law.
Yes.
And in spite of being this top MBA from JBIMS, my knowledge of law was not all that great when it came to the sector. And my solicitor actually pulled my leg saying that, in spite of doing all of this, your knowledge on property laws is still very basic. And which is where I actually asked him that, where have you done your law from? So he told me, I've done from GLC, Government Law College, topmost college for law in the city. And I told him, I just picked up a form and I told him I'll also do law. So that is where my journey for LLB started.
Amazing.
And trust me, I think that was the best thing that I've done. Law is so empowering, and I would tell to all listeners, do a degree of law, or maybe just pick up the books even if you don't want to enroll in for a degree of law, because ignorance of law is not an excuse.
Yeah.
So the law of the land is very clear. You need to have an understanding of the law. And as we progress further in life, in different phases of life, I think most of our decision makings go wrong because we don't understand law completely. So having a knowledge about law of the land is so important. And I think once I enrolled in for LLB, my perspectives changed quite a lot. In real estate, we deal a lot with environmental issues. Everything about real estate is about environment. So as soon as I completed my LLB, I enrolled in for an LLM, which is a master's program of law, in specializing in environmental studies. And that again was very interesting. So, I'll tell you an amazing fact. 90% of our environmental law syllabus is because of one gentleman. So there's a gentleman called as MC Mehta.
Okay.
He kept creating different cases in Supreme Court, and the judgments from there, the observations from there actually became responsible for creating an entire syllabus of environmental law. So all that you read about environmental laws in India, this one gentleman is so important. And
I think
was
it's
so
so
inspiring.
Important in general, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it, directly impacts us. So we've been talking about AQI, contamination, dumping. And if you realize all these environmental issues which hit you right in.
Yes.
And once I did that, then of course the idea was to do a second PhD, and which is where RERA was a new law.
Yes.
It's just 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I started researching on RERA because clearly I believe that regulation in real estate sector was important.
Yeah.
You needed a specialized tribunal, and which prompted me to do research over there. So I think even going further now, it's been 12 years that I've joined the business. I still actively pursue research, whether it's through my books or whether through my role as CREDI convener for research. More recently, and I'll tell you a very interesting episode, we did a developer sentiment survey. And
Developer sentiment survey.
Absolutely, for the year 2026.
Okay.
The idea was very simple, and we've been doing this for last 5 years. The idea was simple. We have 15,000 stakeholders, 13,000 of which are developers within CREDI ecosystem.
Yeah.
The idea was to tap into their sentiment about how they really look at real estate, because we read a lot on WhatsApp University, we read a lot through articles, and sometimes bias does creep in.
Or you can capture the sentiments of a couple of developers, but not all of them.
And not across the length and breadth of the country.
Absolutely,
right? So
yes.
tier 3, 2, 1. And I didn't want to leave this opportunity. So every year in the last quarter, I take up this exercise for last 5 years. And the results that it threw up were very interesting. What the nation is thinking about real estate.
Would you like to give some examples on the same?
I'll give you 5 key takeaways
Yes, absolutely.
which came out of that survey. First big one, and this was quite an eye-opener. If someone were to think about this 5 years before, they would have not been on the same page. 80% of the real estate stakeholders are taking decisions based on data analytics. Can you imagine?
Wow.
80% of developers feel the relevance of taking decisions using data. And both these words were very, 360-degree apart when it came to the sector, even as recent as 5 years back.
Yeah.
There was a second very interesting data point. We always think real estate is about residential, office, retail, malls, etc. But there are developers who think that two asset classes are going to make a huge difference, which is warehousing
Oh, wow.
and senior living.
Okay.
Now, that was an eye-opener for me. Warehousing, probably, yes, we've been doing a lot of discussions, but senior living, because we've been talking average age of India is 25 years, 28 years, youngest working population.
Yeah.
But there are developers who are already thinking about the segment, because you will have in a couple of decades,
Absolutely.
you'll have the
Not too
largest.
far away. Not too far away.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if the average age is right now, say 27, 28, a couple of decades, and you'll have a largest
nearly 3 decades.
silver line population running in.
Yeah.
And so interesting to see that, planning for senior living is starting big time.
Yeah.
And then when I read news of, an announcement of a senior living project here, another big announcement there, it doesn't surprise me anymore, because that is what the sentiment survey actually threw up.
Yeah.
Third big trend was 60% of developers have switched onto digital technology for sales. 60% switch. And we still talk about real estate as brick and mortar, touch and feel.
Yeah.
We talk about physical presence, etc. But there is almost 2/3 of India who's now moving digital to sell one of the biggest asset class or biggest ticket asset class that exists. So that was quite mind-blowing for me in terms of how real estate stakeholders are actually looking at trend. Fourth, and this really inspired me, this really kind of motivated me. There is 93% of the stakeholders who took the survey believed that we are globally insulated. So they believe.
What does that mean?
Exactly. So it means that irrespective of what US is saying, or irrespective of the hostilities from the neighbor, or irrespective of what is happening outside India, the sentiment is that Indian market is stable. Indian market is going to move positively in a growth trajectory, irrespective of what is happening at the macro level. And that is so important, because we always tend to worry about things which are not in our control. But here the sentiment was clear that we have the largest market available.
Yeah.
And the last big trend was, and something which is music to every developers here, almost all of them
play that music, please.
Almost all of them believe that price will rise 5 to 10%, and which is always good for the sector, because if there is appreciation, people who have bought are happy.
They would want to do that, yes.
Exactly. So it's a growth trend which is showcased, and there's always a discussion that so much supply is there, prices will fall, etc. But almost all of them believe that there will be a 5 to 10% price rise across. And this is the first time what I observed was these trends were not limited to only tier 1 metro cities or the 8 big cities as they are called. This was the sentiment right till tier 2 and tier 3. So the growth that is happening, and this is the first time since independence, the kind of growth that is happening is actually all-inclusive growth. It is not growth confined only to metro cities. Because there's always this complaint that the big 8 cities only eat up the entire pie. But the idea is this is being seen even in tier 3 cities. So, it seems India is poised for a hockey stick growth. And which will continue, and which is very organic. And that was these 5 big key takeaways from the consumer sentiment survey.
That's amazing. I mean, I think
which we did.
I think that's beautiful. I think in any nook and cranny that you go of the country, you see development that's happening.
Absolutely.
Whether it's in the tier 2, tier 3, or it's in the tier 1 cities. And I think you just encapsulated that whole thing as well, which is beautiful. And I think everything that you speak back here is based on, say, 12K to 13K of stakeholders. So you're grabbing all of their sentiments and you put them into these 5 bullet points back here. What I've actually noticed is you've actually said 80% use data to make decisions, 60% have actually, switched to digital platforms, 93% believe that India is globally insulated, and the price is about to rise by 5 to 10%.
Absolutely.
Everywhere you've spoken about statistical numbers.
Absolutely.
That comes back again that you don't believe in gut syndrome, but you believe in research-driven statistics. Coming back to that, what was the gap in the market that you actually saw that drove you to actually write your research papers and to pursue your PhD as well?
So I think the biggest gap that I observed, ours is a family business. It's a third generation family business. So real estate has always been a dining table conversation, be it on holidays or, whenever.
Is that a good thing or
at all.
How does that feel?
I kind of, people believe that, once you enter home, you should shut off work conversations. But I think we thrive on real estate because now everyone around me is into real estate. I've married to a family also which is into real estate. So I think my wife is also pretty much used to real estate. So, and kind of, I believe that, when you take opinions from different stakeholders and different age groups, different cats, you look at the same problem differently.
Differently, yeah, absolutely,
And which is why, there was always a practice by my mom that she would discuss whatever was happening at work, and she would ask me, what do you think? And I had not even joined business. I was still doing my MBA, or I was doing my graduation, and that piece was always there. So I noticed one thing very strongly, and which I believe was there is lack of informed decision making which is there in the sector. I think people are doing life-changing decisions, things which will determine the next 30 years. When you do a home loan mortgage, you are essentially committing 25 to 30 years of your earnings into it, but without adequate data. So I thought that availability of this information, availability of this data is the biggest gap which is there. And what I wanted to do is, address that as a thing that I would be giving back to the sector, which has, fed us for 3 generations. So this is one basic thing which I believed I wanted to do. And I endeavored to do that through multiple initiatives. Books is, of course, one. Second is conferences, conclaves, podcasts, etc., research papers. And I do a lot of seminars, panel discussions, etc., keynotes, where I talk about real estate extensively and, exchange thoughts mainly.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Writing multiple books and doing a PhD is no small feat. What was the main problem that you were trying to address? You mentioned getting enough data within the industry. Is there anything else that you were trying to address at that point in time?
I'll tell you my favorite book, and this was, I believed, what was the gap was, as real estate professionals, consciously or unconsciously, we throw a lot of jargons. Jargons which 90% of the people don't understand. And I actually compiled a book along with a few of my co-authors, which is called as the Real Estate Dictionary.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So for the first time in India or globally probably, we have a dictionary of real estate jargons. These are jargons which are used by engineers, by architects, by lawyers, by salespeople, by marketing people. All stakeholders use these jargons knowingly, unknowingly. But for a layman, it's a little overwhelming.
Very overwhelming, yes.
And for, probably someone who's entering the sector who would want to know. So we actually compiled 15,000 words of real estate and compiled into a nice thick dictionary, which actually explains the concept with illustrations at times. about what the jargon is about. So,
Okay.
and I thought that was so very required for so many of us.
Yeah. I have a fun question to actually ask you. This is going to be, what are the 5 most commonly used jargon by developers in today's day and age that they just throw it to lay people and they just expect or they think that we just know it? What is it? Which is also covered in your dictionary.
So I think the measurement term, while RERA requires us to talk about square meter, we talk about square feet, and independently on our plans, our dimensions are also mentioned. So sometimes it just throws off guard when you are using terms like so much square meter, so much square foot, etc. Then there is a practice which ideally RERA doesn't allow, but still I have observed that in a few micro markets, usage of built-up area, super built-up area, carpet area. And
what is the right way to use it?
So the only way to use it rather is carpet area.
Carpet area.
I think we should not be talking anything else, but at least that's what the RERA mandates. But even within MMR, there are a few micro markets where there is a prevailing practice to use built-up area, etc. And I think that really puts the customer off guard because he doesn't really know what he's paying for. Right. Now,
but it's improved so much more. I have to tell you, I think back in the heydays, they would use super built-up area, terminology so much.
Thankfully, super built-up is off the guard. So now you have built-up and carpet. The third confusing term is loading and efficiency.
Okay, explain that, please.
Okay. So, of course. So, loading is...
Again, you're speaking to a lay person and you're throwing this jargon, so I need to kind of understand what this means.
The way it works is, loading is, if I say 50% loading, it means if the carpet area is 100 square foot, I'm actually charging you for 150 square foot.
You're charging me 150?
Yeah, so I'm doing loading of 50%. Right, so that gives you the built-up of 150, right? And then when it comes to office space, they don't use the word loading. They in fact use the word efficiency. So what they say is, I have 70% efficiency. It means what? That if my chargeable area or built-up area is 100 square foot, the carpet area or the actual usable space is going to be 70 square foot. So one is, as you notice,
adding, and the other one is decreasing.
It goes from lesser to higher. The other one goes from higher to lower, and this really throws one apart because ultimately you want it simple. You just want, okay, this is my carpet, and this is what I'm going to.
So how do you simplify this to a layperson then?
I think just ask for carpet area.
Ask for always, I think that's the most important thing.
The only way of looking at it, right?
Yes. So that was the third.
The fourth way in which a lot of confusion actually rises in the mind of consumers is around the jargons called IOD, CC, OC.
Yes, tell me about it. It's just so much of that,
Exactly. So I think what one should only look for is that as per RERA, what is the start date and what is the end date. Instead, the usage of words like IOD, CC, OC actually kind of confuses the consumer rather than really helping him out around there. And the last practice which kind of throws one apart is, I'm allocating a large car park to you, I'm allocating a small car park. So you know what one should know is that the municipality actually gives you approval of a small car park and a large car park. So you should, and a large car park means a Fortuner size probably, and a small car park would mean say Alto size or Maruti Suzuki size, etc. So one needs to understand what dimensions of car park one is getting. Getting a car park alone is not sufficient.
What is the, how are are car parks actually, how do you measure the dimensions as well?
So, you have these, nowadays, most of the car parks are designed in a way that they suit larger category. So you have your Innova, you have Fortuner, you have Creta, etc.
Yeah.
They all fit. So I think in my view, as a good planner, you should not plan for smaller car parks at all. Because even if today I have a smaller car, probably tomorrow I might have a larger car. And a space that you create for the next 30 years.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you should have that in mind.
Okay, perfect. I mean, thank you so much for explaining all of that to us. And for everyone listening to us, just in case you haven't got your hands on Real Estate Dictionary, I think you should, just in case you get
100%.
confused with all of these technical jargons. And especially if it's
Absolutely.
someone who's interested into real estate or working into real estate, I think before you even take the plunge and start speaking to your buyers, it's very important to get these things rectified so you're giving the right information to the right buyer. In fact,
Totally.
anyone like a channel partner, they need to have a book like this in
Oh,
hand. For sure.
completely.
Yes.
Completely.
Fantastic. Your journey has been absolutely incredible. I mean, we've obviously spoken so much about it. You've done your LLB, LLM, then obviously you've done your PhDs as well. You've written 25 books already. Has your journey been more planned or did it just organically happen? I know it started off with your mom, but then now has you
Of course,
progressed along with it?
You do tend to think it out.
Yeah.
But I always believe that if you are being driven to a particular thing, and even if that's not part of the plan, you should take it up because probably that's where you are destined to be as a path. So, of course, as a developer, we think out the next 5 years or next 7 years. And it's so important because every project you undertake, you are essentially committing 5 to 7 years of your life towards it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, India being India, you are used to uncertainties. And there are certain things which come out of syllabus which are not part of the plan. And you just get used to it and kind of move along with what comes by.
Yeah. Amazing. So basically saying yes to every surprise that comes along your way.
Totally. That's the only way to survive here.
I completely agree. Obviously, there are a lot of people who would probably be watching this podcast or listening to the podcast as well, getting extremely inspired by everything that you're saying. What should they take away from your journey?
I think simple. I've always believed in a saying, labor omnia vincit, which says hard work conquers all. So I think.
Can you repeat that again?
Labor omnia vincit.
Omnia, okay, that's a new word.
It's Latin for hard work conquers all. So principally, there is nothing what your persistence, your grit, and hard work can't, overcome. So of course we are all about smart working, tech, AI, etc. But I think old school traditional hard work still pays off pretty much.
Yeah. So they should work hard. Is there any path that you would expect people to follow or something of that sort?
I think be at it.
Academically, from a research point of view.
Patience is extremely important when it comes to real estate sector. It's a slow sector. In today's era of Reels and Swiggy, Blinkit, Zomato, you expect everything in 15 minutes and you want decisions in a few days or months. But real estate is not that. Real estate is about patience. It really tests you. So in a way, my rigor while doing a PhD paid off because the single most important thing that a PhD teaches you is patience.
Yes, of course.
Because you have to work towards one goal for 5 years.
Almost, 3 to 5 years of being into
Absolutely.
it. Yes, absolutely.
So I think that has helped. You have to be consciously meditating around and working hard day in, day out. And you will get there,
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Let's move on towards real estate today. Let's talk a bit more about the on-ground reality that we see. What is the biggest shift that you've seen in the Indian real estate in the last decade or so?
I think post the pandemic, there is a whole big rebound when it's come to ultra luxury and luxury.
Yes.
And this is not only real estate, but I think all parts of lifestyle. So whether it's a watch, whether it's a holiday, whether it's a cassette, everything that is tagged as luxury and ultra luxury is really flying off the shelf.
Yeah.
And that
You would actually
principally-
expect it to be the other way around, right? Because COVID happened, you would expect people's consumption
Exactly.
patterns to
Exactly.
actually reduce, but it's actually increased post-COVID.
So it's what they say as the YOLO trend, right?
Yes.
You live only once.
Yeah.
And I think that's
We love
really
that.
kicking in. So people are having these FOMOs, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And people are going aspirational.
Yeah.
People are betting big on experiences. People are buying a meal for 8,000, 10,000 rupees. They want curated stuff. Basically, a lot of investment around experiences, and which also gave birth to a new type of residential living, which is around elevating standard of life, around experiences, which is called as branded residences.
Oh, yes, of
So
course.
branded residences became this new thing in the block suddenly, where you are getting top-notch quality services, everything which is AAA plus branded, packaged into your home. Your clubhouse is getting maintained by the topmost hospitality brand. You have concierge desk, you have white glove service. Your guests are treated to good quality coffee.
Yeah.
When you step into your building, the aroma is different,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
So I think that has transformed. If you would have talked to anyone prior to COVID about this, they would have laughed. Today, you have more than 5 locations which have rates above 1 lakh rupee a foot. Today, a home worth 50 crore doesn't surprise you anymore. In fact, people are making buildings where there are homes only worth 50 crores.
Yes.
Erstwhile, there was only a Malabar Hill or an Altamount Road, Carmichael
A couple of
Road.
locations, yes.
But today, a Carter Road or a bandstand boasts a lakh rupee a foot or maybe more.
There are some places in Warsaw as well, by the way.
Warsaw was the new Bandra.
Yes, it is. Especially with the connectivity with the coastal road and
Absolutely,
everything.
because
Yeah.
the distance between Warsaw and Bandra is going to be 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You blink your eye and you are there,
Yeah.
right? So Warsaw has become the new Bandra. Bandra is the new Malabar Hill.
Yes.
So I think the way Mumbai is changing, it's unprecedented. Today, there's this huge euphoria around ultra luxury. People are planning bigger layouts.
Yeah.
Earlier, there was this whole box pricing. I want to fit it all in 1 crore, 2 crore. I think now people, what used to be an house, today is probably the living room.
Yeah.
What used to be an entire space for a family is a bedroom today. So I
Yes.
think people have gone grander.
Yeah.
And clearly, this is fueled by the stock euphoria also. There are so many founders, promoters, business owners who are getting good exits at the boss. People are also making big on their portfolios,
Yeah.
whether it's the stocks or whether it's gold, etc., silver. So I think there is this whole big euphemism where everything is working right and working well.
Yeah.
So I think party is on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you've been speaking a lot about luxury and ultra luxury, but I would just like to say that recently I was doing a challenge online, which was called the 60 Days Property Challenge. We covered properties right from, say, Virar until South Mumbai. Now, the beauty of doing that meant there were properties in Virar which were probably much lesser in price, but they had the entire clubhouse experience, all the amenities that you can possibly think of 60 plus amenities. So they're getting the luxury and the ultra luxury for that particular area. They don't even need to come towards South Mumbai, and vice versa. The gentry back in South Mumbai is so different. If they're even thinking of investing, they have the whole of the Mumbai spectrum available for them. So how beautiful is that in the luxury and the ultra luxury segment? Although I know you're referring more to South Mumbai from that sense,
No. In fact, on the contrary, Borivali has rates of 50,000 rupee a foot,
Yeah.
which is a central Mumbai rate.
Yes.
Navi Mumbai has 45,000, 50,000
Yeah.
rupee a foot.
Yeah.
See, I'll tell you, MMR, as it's proudly referred to as Mumbai Metropolitan Region,
yes.
is almost 30% of India's organized residential real estate sales, right? Almost 1/3. MMR, in terms of the total value, what it does, is equal to what 8 different states of India do.
Really? Wow.
So that is how large Mumbai is, or MMR is, in terms of real estate. So when you look at micro markets, right? You said South Mumbai, there is Alibag, there is Vasai Virar, there is
Yeah.
Kalyan Dombivali,
Yeah.
there is Navi Mumbai, there is Thane.
Yes.
Each micro market is probably as much a Indian state is probably doing.
Yeah.
So the numbers that Thane does as a micro market is probably equal to one state of India. Now, because of that, each micro market in itself is big. That's why you call
Yeah.
Navi Mumbai as a satellite city,
Yeah.
right? So the idea is that today luxury is not only about South Mumbai. Earlier, Bombay was referred as North-South. The wealthy stayed in South, and the workers actually came from the North. That's no more the case. Every micro market has those millionaires or ultra high net worth individuals worth more than 250 crores
Yeah.
who want to stay only in that micro market.
Absolutely.
There are many ultra high net worth individuals in Borivali
Absolutely.
who can afford a Wali,
Yeah.
but would not want to come in.
They're
to
born and
Wali.
raised there, and they're very, very rooted there, and they love it there.
Exactly.
In fact,
Ultimately,
yes.
I always say a Mumbai car is like a tree.
Yeah.
He grows his roots in the location that
Yes,
he is.
absolutely.
A Santa Cruz guy would not want to go to Khar. A Bandra guy would not want to go to Santa Cruz, and vice versa.
I've heard this from so many folks, like people who are born and
Exactly.
raised in a particular area. They love it to such an extent, they would vouch no matter what. They will upgrade to a larger carpet area or buy a couple of houses,
In the
but
same
within that
micro
same
market.
locality. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
which is why there is business for every developer in the micro market they're operating.
Yeah.
So, gone are the days where you aspired only to be in South.
Yeah.
I think after Coastal Road,
Yeah.
Everything is just 10 minutes apart.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't matter.
And connectivity is just going to keep getting better. Yes.
Of course. I think the extension of Coastal Road left, right, center is
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
And,
I think
any
the next
point
stretch
to
is
any
up to
point.
Kandivali as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
They're planning up to Vasai, Virar,
Yeah.
etc. I think everything that the sea touches
Yeah.
will be connected eventually
Yeah.
because they've tasted success.
Yeah.
And I think now it's over time that you want to go in any part of MMR, it'll take you 25 minutes to be there. That's the larger
Amazing.
scheme of things. Yeah.
We're actually excited to see all the progress that happens from the
Absolutely.
infrastructure point of view.
Absolutely.
That'll be lovely. Okay. What's something that people outside the industry completely misunderstand about developers?
I think developer is a sitting duck, the easiest neck to catch. I think they kind of blame everything on the developer,
Yes.
not understanding that
There's so
developer
much behind it,
is
yes.
one stakeholder. I
Yeah.
think there are 300 more stakeholders. Which are there, but yeah, of course, the more visible one, the more glamorous one, and the easiest to catch, as they say, the sitting duck,
Yeah.
is the developer.
Yeah.
And I think the most misunderstood guy is the developer. The intent, and I can tell you very safely, of most of the developers, or I can say probably 95% of the developers, is to do good, clean work and make a legacy out of what they do, right? No one's in for the quick buck, or no one's in here for the short term. But as they say, the system really plays you, and the face is at the end of the day the developer.
It's the face of the developer, yeah.
There are many a times that there aren't things under his control. But he gets really blamed for
Yeah.
it. So not really playing the victim card, but just putting it out there that the intent is always to do it right and create a legacy and not go for the short term. Today's social media,
Yes, I think in today's day and age,
judicial
yeah.
activism, I don't think any developer would really be risking it, and as I popularly call it, in the era post-RERA.
Yeah.
No one would really be doing
Yeah.
it. But yeah, it gets, unfortunately, he's the poster boy for
Yeah.
everything that goes wrong in the city.
You did call developers the sitting dog because that's where they're most misunderstood by some of the
Absolutely.
customers or the home buyers out there. what can a developer do to kind of combat that
I think
in today's day and
the
age, keeping
single
in mind with the social media and
most
everything?
important thing is be available and communicate. I think if you communicate and if you are accessible, I believe 90% of the issues will resolve. I think the issues balloon up because you're not accessible, because you are not communicating. So I think these two things are extremely important to address 90% of the issues.
I mean, let's talk about some of the top developers of the country or the city for the matter of fact. They can't be easily accessible for sure. So who do you think should be the next point of contact within their system then?
In my view, good observation. In my view, the training of the person who is your interface with the customer or with any outward person should be impeccable, because the person who is interacting is representing you.
Yeah.
So the one who is communicating should be super well trained, and super calm, poised, balanced, and calibrated in response. I think the issue lies because the last mile person who is communicating is just not so trained, is just not so aware, and which is actually reflecting bad on the promoter. And this happens a lot in.
So do you think promoters
firms.
are actually communicating to their?
It's not going deep down, I think.
Yes.
Because especially when, if you look at the top 20, 30 developers, and if they have like some 1,000 people working for them, I think it's very important to carve out those 50 people who would be interacting outward, and the developer should spend time, talking out with those 50 people, so the right message goes out. Yeah.
Any tips to kind of improve that?
I think people who face the customer, people who face any other stakeholder outside the company should be well defined and well trained and well communicated, because they ultimately represent the brand, they represent you.
Well trained, well communicated, amazing, love that. Is real estate today more about execution, or is it more about trust building?
It's only about execution, and I think if you're moving the brick, if the cranes are moving, if the slabs are coming up, trust gets built as a byproduct. So I think it's only about getting it right there on site.
And I think what's the amazing part these days, you could probably shed some more light on that. I'm not too sure who was the first Indian developer who started doing that. We've started building the countdown machine outside every site. Who did that? Was that Dr. Nayan Shah? Or?
Of course. That was Nayan Bhai. Very bold of him. And clearly an inspiration to all of us.
Absolutely.
Senior leader at Credai MCHI, past president. And I think he started that practice when most of us were even finding it difficult to
match the deadlines.
He actually put it out right there and made it every time on time. So I think remarkable. And I think that now a few others who've
actually plenty of them, and that's amazing.
Do it, but and he used to do it in an age when there was no RERA also. So what is more commendable about it is,
and Mayfair Housing is actually the first developer to actually sign up under the RERA.
Absolutely.
Compliance, which is
absolutely.
so great.
Nayan Bhai is always at the forefront of these things. We actually neighbors. We stay very close by.
Wonderful. Lovely
his
gentleman.
Children are very good friends of mine, and the sense of responsibility, the sense of ownership, the sense of discipline, commendable. He's an Iron Man.
I think he's one of the most handsome developers in the industry
of course.
as well.
He's a George Clooney.
Yes, of course. Yeah, that's very well said. Yeah.
Yes.
No, amazing. So I think that's one of the ways of doing trust building. I think another way that developers have now started building trust with their home buyers is also the construction updates that go out on social media.
Absolutely. I think very important that those updates go in regularly. You have WhatsApp now. You have all the tech that you need in the world. So I think very important that you communicate. These small things actually
play a huge role.
They make a huge impact.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on developers actually showing themselves more on social media these days and actually candidly speaking about the developments that they have ongoing?
I think it's a very It's a double-edged sword, right? It's a very double-edged
They're too
sword.
easily accessible
Because now you are the face, right? So it can go either which ways.
Yeah.
There are few developers who 90% of the people don't even know how they look like.
Yeah.
They just know the company name. The company name is so large,
Yes.
but they don't even know who the developer looks like. So that is one call where you really
You build your
bet
personal
big
brand,
on the company, and then there's a second way where you build a personal brand, and then there is a third way where you do both. So you
Yes.
build a personal brand as well as you build a company brand. I think to each their own. All three approaches are correct. There are few who are reserved and don't want to put out their face.
Can you give me an example in each of the category? A developer who doesn't show themselves on camera, but they're absolutely amazing at the work that they do.
K Raheja Cop, killing it, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who would not know even how the Rahejas would probably
Yes,
look like,
yes.
right? But in terms of work, I think clearly there.
Phenomenal work, yes.
Right. Even Godrej,
Yes,
for example,
yeah.
you wouldn't know how Feroz Shah probably,
Yes.
doesn't put himself out in the media
Yeah.
so often. Even probably Vikas Oberoi, although
Yes.
he's quite a popular face, but doesn't do a lot
Yes.
of these
Yeah.
Personal interactions. But
Yeah.
companies rock solid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then there are few who do the hybrid well, which is a big name for their company as well as the personal brand is very strong. Baman Irani
Yes.
does it so well.
Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani.
Of course.
Yes.
Does the both
End very
right,
well, yes,
exactly.
agreed,
So
yeah.
you have a mix of both strategies, and I
Yeah.
think both are pretty
To each
much
its own.
To each their own. Yeah.
Of recently, I think in the young bloods, I would like to mention two names. I like Manan Shah from MICL. I think again he balances that two act absolutely
So
beautifully.
in fact, I would say Manan is a larger personal brand than even his company probably.
Really?
He is a brand in himself.
Yeah.
The way he lives a lifestyle,
Yeah.
his dressing.
Very
his
stylish, very savvy.
very
Yes,
soft.
for sure, soft. Yes.
So yeah, I think great example.
Yeah.
And works amazingly well. Yeah.
I want to bring attention to one of the developers, okay, and you can shed some light on that. So he is probably a Gen Z, but I've seen him vlogging what happens at a construction site behind the scenes. Can you guess who that person is?
There are many.
Vlogging at what happens at a construction site.
So there is.
Mumbai based.
Oh, okay.
One
so there is
person.
otherwise a Raipur Credit developer friend of mine, Navneet, does this very frequently.
Okay.
I'm
I'm going to give you another hint. You've also done a podcast with this person.
Okay. No, I can't recollect.
It's Krish from H. Rishabh Raj.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That was, yeah. Of course.
So Krish does a lot of vlogs of what is happening behind the
Rishabh
scenes.
Raj.
Yes.
Fantastic talent,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's perfect example of putting out, communicating to stakeholders, transparently showing out the work that they're doing, the progress they're doing.
Yeah.
I remember, so his dad and I are in association together, and I remember him mentioning that they've done more than 24 OCs in 2 years. That's
Wow.
another level of accomplishment.
Yeah.
So fantastic work that they do.
Yeah.
They revive a lot of stalled projects also.
Yes.
And that's their way of CSR,
Yes.
of
That's
resolving industry issues. I think fantastic work. Krish and his two brothers, I think clearly lead the pack.
Yeah.
I think he started the podcast meeting all different stakeholders.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult because you have to do research on each arena, the strengths, weakness, etc. All of that. Did it amazingly well. In fact, and he preferred to shoot it at one of the site itself.
Yeah, which is so lovely. And
which is
no
so natural.
fancy mediums, nothing. Just a simple bare shell unit, and you're just there. You do not know where that is happening.
Absolutely.
It was amazing. And I think I see a lot of behind the scenes where He's actually traveling to a different country, meeting architects, seeing more about the design structure. So it just gives a lot more trust in terms of the home buyers when you see that entire experience, and within the internal stakeholders of the company as well.
That's
to seeing
another
that what's the vision of the brand.
example of a great personal brand.
Yes,
right?
completely
Now
agree
he's a
on
brand
that.
in himself.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing those examples with us. I mean, you're all about research and law and governance, so we have to ask you a couple of questions about that. What's that one real estate law people talk about a law? They talk about it a lot, but they rarely understand properly.
I think people talk a lot about RERA.
Yeah.
I don't think someone sat with the book and have made the effort to read it fully or understand it fully. Every project is RERA registered now by and large, right? But I don't think people have sat, put that project number, gone to the RERA website to actually understand the details that are uploaded about the project. And I think this is the most basic thing that anyone should do is, if you like a project, before you are cutting that token check, use that RERA number.
Okay, wow.
Go to the RERA website, MahaRERA website, key in that number, and probably you will get data that you will be amazed looking
Wow.
at. There is an entire litigation history, sales history, project update, approval update, title, everything is right there.
Wow.
It's just that no one makes it an effort to actually log in and view all of that. It's gold mine of information, publicly available.
That's such good information. Absolutely. So they just take the RERA number and then they have to screen that number.
Log in those numbers in MahaRERA website.
Okay, and they would get all the information about the developer.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
About the project, about the developer, about the status, about the legal issues.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes. And I think that's such a gold mine of an information, because if you see most of the properties in today's day and age, most of them are going for redevelopment.
100%.
Everyone's choosing the developer based on different criteria.
True.
And I think this should be one of the biggest criteria that they choose their developer on.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thanks. Has regulation made the sector more disciplined or more difficult?
So I think regulations to start with are great because they bring in discipline, they bring in transparency, they actually bring in credibility, and they bring in trust. The problem is we don't know where to stop. So the issue right now I'm seeing is that we are operating in a very over-regulated environment.
Yeah.
And that is the problem. I think we don't know where to call it the boundary, right? So in my view, regulation is great, but over-regulation actually kills the purpose why it was brought forth. So as much as no regulation is damaging, over-regulation is even more damaging.
Yeah.
Because then there's no incentive left.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
So, and I believe right now we are in a bit of over-regulated environment where we've really taken it far on a lot of account.
Got it. What's that one regulation that's currently there which you would probably not want it to be around, which is just complicating things and making things a lot more difficult?
I think the book itself, right, DCPR, Development Control Promotions Regulation, which governs the entire building industry.
Yeah.
I think that book is very complicated.
Yeah.
We as Indians are providing tech solutions to the world.
Yes.
If we can have your Aadhaar and passport in 3 days, why do building approvals have to take 100 days?
Yes, absolutely.
You have the TCS, you have the Wipro, you have the Accenture.
We've got some of the biggest tech companies
absolutely
rooted in India.
Exactly.
Why not utilize them?
So why not use self-certification? Why not use AI? Why not use prop tech? Why not use tech to do these approvals? Why waste the skills and talent of bureaucrats into these mundane approvals?
Yes.
I think they can be productively used for far better other nation building purposes.
Yeah.
And I see so much of man hours of all stakeholders getting chased into approvals.
Yeah.
And going to and fro on such small,
Minuscule things.
irrelevant,
Yes,
minuscule
absolutely.
things. It's a complete criminal waste of time, money, efforts.
I love that word, criminal waste of time.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think what are we doing in this age of AI, where even a kid is using ChatGPT, we are still going through approvals in a very traditional way.
Yeah.
So I think we need to use PropTech AI, and I think the entire book of DCPR, which is so very complicated. Even industry veterans who've been practicing for 30 years find it complicated.
Absolutely.
So there's no scope for a layman to even remotely understand that book.
Yes.
I think we need to simplify and embrace more tech, especially when it comes to approvals.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you on that one. I think you've already answered this question of mine. If you could change or improve one policy, but just in case you have a separate answer for it, if you could change or improve one policy to strengthen real estate in India, what would it be?
I think self-certification should be encouraged. That's how US works as well.
Yeah.
Architects and developers provide self-certification. There is only a visit or a monitoring that happens from the authorities, but they don't actually get into nitty-gritty. So
Yeah.
I think we should work around self-certification.
Perfect. Wonderful. I think we've spoken a lot about Indian real estate. And when we speak about Indian real estate, we usually cover the residential, the commercial side of things. You've also spoken about warehousing. You've spoken about senior living. But something which is not really tapped into much is REITs.
Oh, that's
Right?
my favorite.
Yeah. And you've actually done a PhD in it, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
amazing. So who are REITs and is it actually meant for India?
So, very interesting. REITs stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts. They work like mutual funds. Mutual fund is a pool of capital governed by a professional which invests into stocks. This is a pool of capital governed by a professional which invests into income generating real estate.
Yeah.
So when I say income generating real estate, it could be an office space, it could be a mall, it could be a data center, it could be a warehouse, it could be a co-working building, it could be a hotel, it could be a hospital, it could be any real estate which is generating income flow. And that income flow, of course, is rental, which comes in, which gets passed through. 90% of the income on a monthly or a quarterly basis goes back to the investors. So it's an amazing asset class where you get the advantage of regular income.
Yeah.
It is listed on the stock market.
Yes.
So the
beautiful.
biggest complaint that it is, real estate is not liquid.
Or it's not even regulated to start off with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's top-notch ESG corporate governance, which is there. And last and extremely important, low ticket size. Because if you want to enter into real estate, you need at least a crore rupee.
Yes.
To enter into REIT, you can do with a few thousand rupees also. And you could participate in the most grade A quality asset, even with a couple of thousand rupees. So it's an absolutely beautiful product. It's a 60-year-old product. So REIT has been in existence in US for more than 5 to 6 decades.
Yeah.
Our neighbors, Pakistan has a REIT, Saudi has a REIT. There are more than 45 nations which have a REIT.
Yeah.
Actually, REIT came far later
to India.
in India, right?
How long has it been in India?
It's been hardly 3 or 4 years.
Wow, very, very new.
Embassy was the first REIT which came in. You had the Brookfield, you had the K. Raheja Mindspace REIT. And then you, of course, had BlackRock backing most of the REITs. So 90% of the REITs have been done by them. So it's a still younger days, but my sense is, and I'll tell you a fun fact, right? 90% of real estate which is owned by institutions is in the form of a REIT.
REITs, yeah.
So that impactful REIT is, and I think it's the safest way, right? Instead of putting in paper security, you're actually having the advantage of real estate, while also enjoying liquidity along with it. Yeah.
I love the key points that you mentioned about that easily liquidated. Okay, it's a low ticket size. And then obviously it's listed and it's regulated from that sense, which is
Absolutely.
amazing.
Absolutely.
Do you think REIT is still evolving right now?
It
Or
is.
do you think it's the right time to right now invest in REITs, or should someone wait it out and then invest later
No,
on?
I think absolutely go ahead, invest. SEBI also gave it a parallel equity status, which means a lot of insurance companies, pension funds, etc., would also be investing in REITs. REIT is extremely safe. Go ahead, invest. Absolutely.
It's a great way to
asset
diversify your
class.
portfolio as well.
Absolutely. Great asset class.
Yeah.
Move all your FD money to REITs. There's no point of keeping money in current account and FDs.
Yes.
Move it to REITs.
Okay. So it's a very finance related question. Feel free to answer it. If you were in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, if you were in your 20s, how much percentage of your portfolio would you put into REITs? If you're in your 30s and 40s, then?
I think if I was in my 20s, I would be, going around crypto and all
lot
of
of money
those
to
kind
save.
of things.
Okay.
Working on tips, working on stocks, and things that give you an adrenaline rush.
So less of REITs at that point in time, in
IPOs
20s.
and all. Yeah, I think.
And 30s and 40s?
I think 30s. I would put 20% of my real estate portfolio in a REIT.
Okay.
Because comparatively at 30 you can still do some other asset classes which can give you more higher returns.
Yeah. And what's the
and I
returns that
think-
you can expect in REITs?
REITs typically give you 7 to 8% returns.
It's not very high.
It's a stable asset class.
Stable. Perfect.
The whole idea is security, stability, certainty, regularity. So REIT provides that. And probably in my 40s, I would move that up to 40%, where, erosion of
stakes.
my capital is what I don't want. Safety, security of the capital is more important.
And I think with the increasing property prices as well, it will also increase the stakes of the rental income that you get.
That's
through,
great.
right?
So I'll tell you, this is how this works beautifully. Every 3 years, your rental agreements jump by 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
Or every year, your rental agreements jump by 5%, which means your portfolio is also incrementing every year by 5% effectively.
Absolutely.
So there is that.
Without you doing anything.
Exactly. There is this inherent growth pattern which is built into it.
And you don't have to review it or anything of that
Not a
sort.
bit.
Exactly.
Not a bit.
You just put your money in there and you're done and dusted, and you just keep doing
100%.
that as long as you're comfortable doing it,
100%.
And just keep increasing your portfolio as you grow older in life.
100%, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that again. Wow, we're coming back to Mumbai. Okay, and this time we'll speak a bit more about the redevelopment that is happening. According to his redevelopment, reshaping the city, do you think it's an opportunity? Do you think it's a challenge, or do you think it's both?
See, the only way Mumbai can grow is redevelopment. We don't have land.
Yeah.
You go 5 kilometers in any direction, you will hit a water body. So Mumbai really doesn't have the land mass. So redevelopment is not an option. It is the only choice.
It's the need of the hour,
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, do you think redevelopment is the need of the hour, or do society members think it's the greed of the hour? With the extra carpet area that people keep asking for, and then obviously
I think
they wait for days together before they actually go ahead with things.
I think the problem is people are looking now at redevelopment instead of a necessity as a net worth multiplier asset class.
Yes.
So people are looking to multiply their net worth exponentially through redevelopment, and which is where it defeats the purpose. Redevelopment was a necessity. It was never supposed to be a IPL auction exercise.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it is reduced to.
But I want to understand the fundamentals of it. What happened to the whole of India that we all decided to go into redevelopment altogether?
No, it's very simple. I think any building, any edifice has a life of 30 to 40 years typically. After 40 years, either you can go for repairs or you have to go for redevelopment. In 90% of the cases, the buildings have outlived their life. And, as per the National Building Code also, it's ideal that you reconstruct the building after 40 odd years, 30 to 40 years. So which is why redevelopment
So you think this
becomes
is going to happen every 40 years?
there is no option. So, just like a car has, say, a 15-year life, or typically most of the people change car every 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Because after that point, the amount of maintenance that the car will throw up, there are people actually who discard cars or sell it off after 7 years.
Yeah, or you just scrap it off, because
Exactly.
it's no
And
longer required.
Beyond 15 years, the government doesn't allow you to.
Yeah.
So that also holds true for a building, right? So it's a wear and tear, depreciation, climate. You have monsoon, you have sun, you have all kind of vagaries which are there. So in my sense, that is not an option that is available. I think it's a necessity.
So they should consider it to be the need of the hour and not the greed of the hour.
And it will happen across India. I think earlier redevelopment was only Mumbai. Now you have in Thane, you have in Navi Mumbai, you have in Pune, you have in Ahmedabad.
Yeah, you have it across India,
I think
exactly.
It's pretty much, and very soon in 5 years, you will see it across India.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's already happening, even the smaller cities as well. You have so much of redevelopment happening there.
Which are there, the original central business districts, which will all undergo redevelopment.
Yeah, amazing. For someone who's buying their first home in Mumbai, what's that one mistake that they must avoid?
I think they should do their research on every element about the project by going through RERA website. RERA has simplified the task by giving it to you on a platter, but you have to read it.
Yeah. So I think it's and I think the suggestion that you also made earlier about taking the RERA number of the developer and scanning it through and getting all the information that you require.
Or probably
I think that makes
engage a lawyer you can outsource the job to a lawyer who could do that for you. But very important that every document pertaining to the project where you are putting your life earning is actually gone through.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. We're going to wrap up our podcast very soon, but I have a couple of personal learnings I'd love for you to share. What has real estate actually taught you about patience and resilience?
I think it has taught me completely. I compare it to a mango tree. We all love mangoes, but at the initial you have the kachi keri, and then finally it takes time to get that ripe mango, right?
Yeah.
And we know the difference of valuation between a kachi keri and a ripe mango, right? So it's the same with real estate.
Yeah.
You have to be patient for your asset class to ripen.
Yeah.
At the same time, don't be so complacent or so patient that the mango is only rotten.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why you need to do the research in terms of where are you looking at buying your home as well.
So you have to be vigilant, be patient, but don't be complacent.
Perfect. Love that. Looking back, what's that one belief about success that has changed you over time?
I think I've realized the difference between battles and wars. In real estate, you are always fighting something or the other. It's okay to lose a few battles if you want to win the war.
Oh, wow. I love that. Okay, amazing. If you were starting your journey today at 25, what would you have done differently?
I think I would have just done the same. I'm very happy to be in the space I am. And I think it just worked out well for me personally. So I think I wouldn't do anything differently. And probably be a little more optimistic and aggressive. By nature, I'm a little conservative. But if I knew the way markets would have jumped, I would have taken a few more aggressive calls.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So we end every podcast of ours with a couple of rapid fire questions. You can't take too long to think.
Absolutely.
Not that you've been taking longer to think about any of the questions that I've asked you, but this is going to be fast and quick, and let's get your answers on them. Are you ready with your podcast with Adsync?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would it be data or gut instinct?
Data, anytime.
REITs or physical real estate?
REITs.
Wow. Regulation or free market?
Regulated.
Okay, redevelopment or greenfield projects?
Redevelopment.
Wonderful. One word to describe Mumbai real estate?
On steroids.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Harshul Savla, for being a part of this amazing episode with us, which is Podcast with Adsync. We absolutely love chatting with you, and we look forward to having you back again sometime soon.
Absolutely. My pleasure too.
Thank you so much. Thank you.